the Logan Power Show. Welcome, everybody.
The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan. Definitely. So, hey, we're having some fun here. My name is Calvin Logan, the Logan Power Show. We nationwide, worldwide. We love y'all.
Jam Vibes Radio, the jazzful connection for all the people, playing your favorite music and talk 24/7, 365. We're the indie artist's best friend. So call us. We want to play your music and have you advertise on your favorite global station at www.jamvibesradio.biz.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, live here at the Point, Harvest Point Church here in North Charleston, South Carolina. Well, I got with me a dynamic woman of God. She's not playing. She's coming out punching strong. She's breaking barriers. I got with me the author of Single, Pregnant, and Preaching,
Yes.
Elder Melvina Carpenter. How you doing, Mel?
I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
Definitely, I'm great. You on the show.
I am. The Logan Power Show.
The Logan Power Show. Hey, nationwide, worldwide. So we're getting right down to it. We know that you are making some great pathways. I want the people to know more about you. Tell us about Elder Melvina Carpenter.
Elder Melvina Carpenter. Well, long story short, I am a native of Hughie, South Carolina. I now reside in Summerville, South Carolina. I attend True Light Healing and Deliverance Ministries, where I have the best pastor in my world, Pastor Melvin Wright and Evangelist Kathy Wright. There I am married to Deacon Willie Carpenter, and we have 5 wonderful children.
Gotcha. 5
children.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a graduate of Claflin University. I'm now working on my master's degree at Liberty University.
Go ahead.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited for you. You know, definitely shout out to everybody that's in the audience. Got your parents in the audience, your husband. He's always, I call him he's your rock.
He is. He really is.
And he's he's Mr. Mediator. I see him all the time. When you got doing something, he's always videotaping something.
He is. He's my support. We also have 3 of our children in the audience. We have Elder Tyrone Shaw, Minister Anita Shaw. My brother's in the audience. Melvin Wright. He's a teacher and counselor at Hot Cap Middle. My sister's in the audience. Shonda, my niece. Serenity, my little friend Janae, and the best armor bearer on this side of heaven, Claudette Hannah, is in the audience. Amir is in the audience. Blair, Genesis, and Corinthia.
Definitely. We thank everybody for coming in the audience, for being here with us in this special moment. And we know that God's about to work something out special for this time and place.
Amen.
Single, pregnant, and preaching.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you can be single. You can also be pregnant and still preach at the same time.
That was a rough one. Single, Pregnant, and Preaching. I gave birth to Single, Pregnant, and Preaching back in 2007. It's my story. It's about 70% true. The rest is my spice, is what I like to say. It's my story of me finding out that I was pregnant with my oldest daughter just 2 weeks before my first sermon. It talks about what I went through with church people, baby daddy, family, frenemies, the pastor, this and that, them and them. But in the end, I came out with victory. This book is not about me promoting fornication in the church. A lot of people look at the title and they misconstrue it.
Yes.
That's not what it's about. This book is about the realities of single life in the church. Mm-hmm. I wrote this book because no matter how saved you are, doesn't matter how much you speak in tongue, doesn't matter if you make 12 noon prayer every day.
Okay, yeah.
When service is over and the doors are locked and the lights are turned off and you go home to an empty apartment, the enemy is sitting on the couch waiting for you.
Wow.
How you deal with that shows where you are in God. And I had a moment of weakness. And that moment of weakness is what a lot of single people in the church go through, but they have no one to talk about it. And I'm married, but I still carry a very strong burden for singles. It's the fall season, it's getting colder outside, you go to Walmart, you see the holiday decorations in the store, and this is the time in the month of October when the enemy has released other demonic forces to attack the people of God. This is the time when warlocks and witches come together regarding Halloween, but this is also time that the enemy changes his season regarding single people with the spirit of loneliness. You know, you see other families shopping together and they're putting up lights in the yard and they're putting up the tree and they're doing all these things. You're going to your family's house for Thanksgiving dinner, but you're going home alone. And the enemy plays with the mind of single people. And they end up fornicating. They end up sleeping with Tom, and Tom is not the one. You know, they end up getting pregnant. And church people can be some of the coldest people when it comes to sin, when it comes to messing up. They tend to so quickly forget that they messed up just 5 minutes ago. When you looked at that young lady with the belly and you judged her, you should be at the altar right with her. We forget so easy, and especially, I can't speak for the Caucasian or the Mexican or the Italian churches. I can only speak about me and where I come from.
Sure.
But in our churches, when you got pregnant, when I was growing up, they sat you on the back row with the sheet over you. You know, if you dare not wave your hand and praise God, what are you doing? You're in sin. I'm not sinning right now. I'm not having sex right here in the pews. I just have a belly.
Gotcha.
And so we put church people through all these extra things that God never told us to put them through. He told us to love them. He said, through thy loving kindness have I drawn thee. And we don't draw people, we push them away. When a woman comes into the church and she's pregnant, when a woman comes into the church and she's fornicated the night before and didn't get pregnant, but she's reaching out, reach back. Extend the same grace to that woman that was extended to you. Show love. How are we going to win them if we don't love them?
I mean, that's something that I can tell people personal experience. I mean, I tell anybody right now, I've been married 10 plus years. All three of my children came after marriage. I could have been like anybody else, got a girl pregnant. This didn't happen that way. Me and my wife got married 3 years after we met. Got married after my first deployment. Married the next day.
Wow.
Because God told me this. He said, man, you better marry that girl. Don't come back. Because what happened was my bishop told me this. Well, he's my former bishop now, Bishop Hezekiah Road in City Refuge Ministries. He said like this. He said, man, if you love this girl, when you come back from this deployment, you either gonna marry this girl and do right, or just leave her alone.
Right.
That was the warning sign.
Right.
So I know for myself, when I came back, I could have said, well, girl, I ain't seen you in like 6-7 months. You know what I'm saying? Getting married, yeah, right. This is young California, from Los Angeles, California. I'm here in the South. I'm trying to make a difference for myself. Why in the world would I sit there and marry a girl? And, she was cool. She was down with me. She was the funny part about how crazy my situation was. That's why I can testify to this book. You think when you go on deployment, you would have your family be your power of attorney. Okay. No, it's not. It's my wife that's in the audience right now. She's my power of attorney, and we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Wow.
That's how bad my situation was. The trust factor had gotten so bad that you say, man, if this is how bad it was. My death certificate was for my aunt to get all my money to have me overseas. My wife, who was my girlfriend at that time, was my power of attorney. And I was so broke that a penny be $1 million to me during that time. That's how bad my situation was in the Marine Corps on a deployment.
Wow.
And so for me, my choice either stay in the desert another 6 months, and another 6 months, additional 6 months, I would be in the desert another 6 months. Don't come back home. You have your debts paid off, and let this girl wait another 6 more months. God said, come back home, and I married her the next day. At the time, people said, you was crazy. How you gonna marry somebody the next day after the deployment? Don't you wait like down the road? No, I went to the courthouse, and I didn't do the big wedding. We've never experienced a wedding. I can tell you that right now. The courthouse files, and we got married on TV. That's so funny right now. I'm doing television, but I got married on TV. We was on Good Morning America. It followed, said they never heard of a Marine marrying his girl the next day because he made a promise. So that's when you talked about single, pregnant, and preaching. It's not just a woman. It could be a man too. You know, a man could have slept with a girl last night. And the sin could be so deep. You don't have to see this is what people fail to realize. When you mention the book, people don't realize this. The external aftermath, she's pregnant.
Right.
That's what a woman will give off.
Right.
A male's external could be the guilt.
Right.
Or he could be faking it. You could fake it till you make it, like they say. Fake it till you make it. Like you pretend you got $8 billion when you only got $5 in the bank account. Or if that. Or when you fornicate with that girl last night, you say you in the pew or sitting down in the audience at church, just being beat by saying, God, man, I messed up a lot last night.
Absolutely.
And made some mistakes.
And that's another thing about the church that's very hypocritical. And when I talk about the church, I'm not talking about the ecclesia, the called out ones. I'm talking about people that have not truly studied God's word to understand his grace and his mercy and his love. Nothing irritates me more than to see a girlfriend and a boyfriend attend the same church or different churches, and the girl gets sat down off the praise team or off the choir or from preaching or ushering at the door. Oh, but he's the keyboardist, so he gets to keep playing. He beats the drums, so he gets to keep beating the drums. Come on. He's the pastor armor bearer, so he's still carrying the briefcase because his sin is not seen. Gotcha. We have to stop that.
Well, it comes across the board. I think the biggest problem is that you mentioned single, pregnant, and preaching. When you're single, you first got to be whole with yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where your book is going to. Pregnant is just pretty much you carrying something.
Her current situation.
Yeah. And then preaching is the calling.
Absolutely. And it does not matter, people, what you have done. It does not matter where you've gone or what you've said. Before your mother got pregnant with you, God already knew the assignment and the calling on your life. He knew that you were going to sleep with that girl. He knew that you were going to he knew you were going to the club. He knew that you were going to drink that drink. He knew that you were going to use profanity. He knew all of this before he called you the prophet, before he called you the armor bearer, before he anointed your hands to play the keyboard. He knew all of these things about you already. He said in Jeremiah 29:11 that I know the thoughts that I think towards you. They're good, not of evil, to give you an expected end. Single people have to expect something. They have to expect the greater. My father always told me, raise your standards. Don't lower it. Keep it high. If he can't meet it, then keep on moving. And I tell women all the time, I'm working on another book specifically for I'm working on one for the married women regarding sex. And then I'm working on another one for the single women regarding dating. But I always tell my girlfriends, if you meet a man in Walmart and he gets your number and it's been 2 weeks and he hasn't asked you out for a cup of coffee, then I'm gonna need you to lose my number really fast. Delete it out of your phone like water got on it. Get rid of it. Because when a man, if he goes into McDonald's and he wants a Big Mac, it doesn't take him 30 minutes to figure that out. When he goes to buy a pair of tennis shoes and he sees the one he wants and it's the right price, If he's not cheap, he doesn't come back 5 times just watching the shoe. He buys the shoe. So why is he playing with you? Why are you going in all these circles and there's been no date? It's 2015. Stop letting him text you. Let him pick up the phone, hear his voice, hear the emotions. We have smartphones. He can text you and 20 other women at one time, and you never know. He'll tell all of you, good morning, baby. I hope you have a wonderful day. And he sent it to you and 10 other women, and you're all praying and saying, Lord, Johnny is mine. He is the one. He is not it, honey, girlfriend.
Definitely.
He is not it.
For all the ladies that are watching, and this is me. I have a daughter who is 8. She will be 9 on October the 16th. I have a son who is 5, who will be 6 on November the 1st. And I have a son who is 1, who will be 2 on October the 29th.
Busy man.
And so for me, me and my wife have been busy these past 9+ years. But I can let people know this right now. My goal is to be a billionaire. The reason why I say that right now, not trying to be profetious or not, or making up. This is what I want to do. This is how I told my son. I tell my sons this all the time. When your sister, your mama go to the door, open it up for them. Right. I tell my daughter all the time, don't you ever let me see you open the door and I'm here, because that means I don't respect you.
Right.
And if that's my princess, I'm gonna let my princess know that a king gotta respect when royalty walks into the door.
Absolutely.
So, and another thing, what I tell my sons, this is how I want my sons to be. There's nothing wrong with you talking to a female. If you get the number, let me do my example. My wife gave me her number in college. You know, at Voorhees College, where I went. I graduated from Voorhees. We went to Voorhees together. He had like 4 numbers you to dial in college. I got those 4 numbers. I dialed her within that day. Okay. I didn't wait like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I did some homework. See, the key word is called homework. My homework was this. My cousin went to the same school I went to. So I said, you know the girls around here. Tell me about this girl.
Right.
See, I tell a lot of people, a lot of guys right now, I tell them all the time, I say, man, you want to find out about a girl, she gave you the number, all right, good. Now it's time to research this girl.
Right.
Put her name in there, she got a social media page. Check out the profile. Is the profile too much out there? And people, this is the part that gets me, and I know that you're talking about the same thing. Facebook, I'm gonna be honest with you, the profile picture does not really speak volumes. So we meet them in person.
Right.
And get to see the real deal Holyfield. Is she really all that on the profile photo? Absolutely. Or is it like, you know, her friend's photo and not her when you meet her in person?
But I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have so many people in churches that are not married who've received prophecy after prophecy about, oh, God's going to send you a husband, or oh, God's going to send you a wife. And I believe a lot of them have met that person, but because of what they look like, they pass them up. You know, you're 350, but you want him to be 250 with a 6-pack, you know, and you hadn't seen the gym in a while, but Dunkin' Donuts sees you often. You're laughing, but that's reality.
That's true.
You know, your credit score is 350, but you want his to be an 800. You know, you're driving a 1990 Honda Excel, but you want him driving a 2016 Corvette. And we expect these men to have all these big and grand things when we haven't measured up either. It has to have balance. This is 2015, and most households, it takes 2 incomes. You should be bringing something to the table just as well as he should. Don't date to have somebody rescue you from your finances, or date to have just a companion. You have to tell God what you want. Lord, I want a husband. I want the husband that you want me to have. You know, maybe he's gonna be short. Maybe he's gonna be chubby. Maybe he's gonna be light skinned and you like dark skin. I don't know. Maybe he's Caucasian and that's not your thing. It's not about your thing. It's not about your type, because your type has not worked for you thus far. It's about who God has for you. Because when he creates a person for you, it's the heart that he's manifesting and curving and making to match yours, not about the physical person.
Definitely.
We get it misconstrued, and we pass up good people. We pass up on good relationships because of what we see with the natural eye, and we're not looking with the spiritual eye.
It's definitely true. I think that a lot of times we can testify in the church. And see, the thing about what you just mentioned, Elder, which is really it's really hurtful is that the world can expose their drama, and they can get healed and move forward. The church holds themselves back because they remind the person of their past hurt, their past pain.
Absolutely.
And I think this with single, pregnant, and preaching is actually making that call too. I want everyone that talks about that appearance. Another thing you just said too is that you prayed to God to say, send you a husband. And God said, this is who I have before you. But you said, well, God's not what I asked for. Oh, yes, you did. You said, I want a husband. You didn't say specifically what you wanted, but that made me specific that I want to give to you. Right. Just like, for instance, vice versa. You said a male, he's 250 and his wife, is not what he thought she should be.
Right.
But I believe she is a blessing, but it should always be a balance.
Right.
And like I say, when people say, well, man, we don't have nothing in common. Yeah, you do. You got one thing in common. I think we had a couple on our show. They talked for 6 hours, older couple, had nothing in common except 2 things. They love the Lord, they love to travel. Outside of that, nothing else.
Okay.
And I think that's where we have to come to an understanding is that just like how you experienced it in church, and I definitely highly recommend people reading this book, is that to understand that you had a calling in your life before you got pregnant. And it's amazing, 2 weeks before you were about to get that clarion call, the attack came in regards to the ridicule. And we have to have a better understanding to know if you decided not to step out, where would have been now if you'd have held back?
I think about that so many times. Where would I have been if I did not accept the call to minister? Life would have been, I would be in turmoil. Preaching is who I am. Worshiping is who I am. Because I love the Lord that much. If I never stand behind another podium, if I never hold another microphone in my hand, it's who I am. I've been preaching long before I got the title behind my name. I asked my father about 2 years ago, I said, when I was a little girl, did you know then that I was supposed to be a preacher? And he quickly said yes. God knew. He knew all along. he that crackhead that's under the tree, he knew all along. And what we don't understand is that the same power of forgiveness that worked in your life, it worked in mine. And it can work in yours. He forgives. He's not the God of a second chance. I beg to differ. He's the God of many chances. He's given us a chance right now when we're thinking the wrong thing. That's why I love him.
I do.
Because if I relied upon man's forgiveness for me, man, I'd be beyond a burning hell. But God loves me so much. He loves you so much. He loves us so much that he says, yeah, I know you're going to mess up, but I'm going to use that as a testimony. So many women have been healed as a result of reading this book. And so I pity the religious folk that bid their church folk not to buy the book because they don't understand what it's about. I feel sorry for them because they're keeping their people from being healed, because some of those same pastors have folk that's fornicating and they don't know it. Can somebody get on the keyboard real fast?
Well, I think your preaching should be quiet.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we have to expose all our problems. It's just like this: if a pastor makes a mistake, the church will ridicule him and kick him out the church. But the biggest problem that I've ran into is that I tell a lot of people, don't get caught up in that mistake because it could come to your household.
It could come to your household. And since this time, I've had a lot of single women, not a lot, but I've had a few that have gotten pregnant, and they were in my presence often, that I have been able to umbrella and cover them and give them the love that my parents gave me. My parents never beat me up when I told them that I was pregnant. They were hurt. They cried about it. It's in the book. Emerald, they cried about it. Emerald had some issues. You got to read the story about Emerald. A lot of you are emeralds out there. But my parents loved me through. If it wasn't for their love, I don't know where I would be.
Well, definitely, we're going to put out just a confession. You know, we here at the Logan Power Show want to see your book at the next level. We want to get it to the point that we make it to a movie.
Absolutely.
Because I truly believe that people need to hear about this, and I'm willing to partner with you to figure out how we can make this happen. And I'm just speaking to the air. We're gonna make this happen for you, because I think a lot of times, you know, people, like for me, if people ever hear my story from front to back, boy, you be like saying that guy can't be up here. Shoot, he should have been like thrown to the wolves a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And I want all those that are watching to really take a look upon yourself. Take the veil off.
Right.
Be yourself. Be what God has called you to be. Don't ever sit there and settle for second best.
Right.
Settle for the best, and God can have you do something great that's going to make you a great person. And I want to thank you again for coming on the show and blessing us here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and I thank everybody in the audience for coming. And I really want people to sit here and do some great things. But I know you got a presentation to give to us. Let's hear about this great presentation we have.
And before I do the presentation, you can get the book on Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
It's $10 for the paperback copy if you're a page turner. If you want to just upload it to your phone, ebook, Kindle, iPhone, or tablet, whatever electronic device you have, it's $4.99 on Amazon.com. Single, Pregnant, and Preaching by Melvina Carpenter. Within the next 48 to 72 hours, I will have another book on the market. It's called Don't Tease the Dog. It's a children's book. In a few weeks, I'll have another book on the market. It's called Don't Tease Me About My Hair. It's about an African-American little girl who goes through many transitions through being bullied about her hair texture. And the final book that will be out this year that the Lord gave me 3 weeks ago, it's called Ungrateful Johnny at Christmas. So look for me. Remember this face, because you're going to see it again. God is doing great things, and he's taking me great places. MelvinaCarpenter.com is where it's at.
Jam Vibes Radio, the jazzful connection for all the people, playing your favorite music and talk 24/7, 365. We're the indie artist's best friend. So call us. We want to play your music and have you advertise on your favorite global station at www.jamvibesradio.biz.
The Logan Power Show. Welcome, everybody.
The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show.
He is phenomenal.
The Logan Power Show.
He's here to empower you and
The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show.